Okay, so ready to dive into the world of academia?
Always up for that.
Yeah, you bet. You've brought us some like really interesting stuff from RoleCatcher about university department heads.
Yeah.
And honestly, it seems like it's kind of way more than just like lecturing and grading, you know?
Well, that's what's kind of cool about these RoleCatcher excerpts, and they really give you that peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
It's like being in a department head, it isn't just about, leading this one department. It's
Right.
about aligning everything with the university's vision. You're talking like serious academic leadership,
Yeah.
even having to think a bit entrepreneurially, which is not something you'd expect.
No, it's way more dynamic than I think most people realize, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I always picture department heads with their noses stuck in books, you know? But these excerpts are like painting a picture of someone who needs to be like this expert in their field,
Oh, yeah.
but then also like this incredible leader.
Right. And that's one of the big things that jumps out is just the sheer range of skills you need to
Yeah.
really like thrive in a position like this.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just, know everything about whatever 18th century poetry, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But you also need to be able to do strategic planning, financial management.
Right.
We're talking about relationship building, the works.
Yeah, because I remember seeing something in one of these role catcher things about fundraising and like entrepreneurial activities.
Oh, yeah.
And that seems like kind of wild, but also like increasingly important.
Oh, it's huge. And it makes sense, right? Because
Yeah.
gone are the days when, professors could just sort of hang out in their office and do research and teach.
Right.
Department heads now, they have to be on top of budget stuff. They got to look for ways to generate income.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Whether that's grants, partnerships,
Right.
maybe even like some commercial ventures,
Yeah.
you know?
It's like they're running their own little mini businesses within this big university world.
Exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of like navigating those complex environments, I noticed the excerpts also talk about those specific skills you need to actually manage a department well.
Oh, for sure.
Like, how do you actually wrangle all those people?
Well, and RoleCatcher really emphasizes negotiation and persuasion, which at first glance, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like why would you need to be a master negotiator? Like
Right.
it's not like they're, brokering peace treaties or something.
Right, exactly.
Although I guess managing a department full of these like brilliant academics,
It could be close.
it could be its own diplomatic mission, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, you've got two tenured professors, both brilliant in their own right,
Yeah.
but they have completely different views on, say, curriculum changes
Oh, yeah.
or how research priorities should be handled.
Oh, I can see it.
That's where those negotiation skills, that's where they become mission critical.
Right. It's like, how do you find that common ground?
Exactly.
You've got all these really strong personalities, and you've got to get them all like moving in the same direction.
Oh, yeah. And you've got to have the patience of a saint.
Yeah, and some serious diplomacy skills, probably.
Absolutely. And it's not always even like full-blown conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more like you need to get your faculty to like adopt new technologies.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
embrace new ways of like working across departments.
Oh, interdisciplinary stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or even just getting everyone on board with some new administrative policy.
Right. Which I'm sure universities love those.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves a new policy, but it's all about, like you said, it's leading change.
It is.
It's bringing people along.
Yeah.
Even when, they might not be so thrilled about it at first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because change is hard, even when it's good.
Oh, tell me about it. And speaking of bringing people along, we can't forget about communication.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
RoleCatcher actually has some really good stuff on this.
Okay.
They're big on clear communication. Like making sure you're getting your point across both in writing
Yeah.
and when you're actually talking to people.
Right, because you can't just be this like brilliant mind stuck in your office.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to talk to people.
Right, exactly. You've got to be able to connect with your faculty, with the students, the administrators.
Oh, right, and all those other people too.
Exactly. And it's not even just about being like this amazing orator or anything.
Okay.
It's about listening to.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
RoleCatcher, they really stress that you need to like understand where your faculty is coming from,
Right. Like hear their concerns.
Exactly. Get their feedback, make sure everyone feels like they can actually like speak their mind.
Yeah, like build a department where everyone feels heard.
Exactly. It's about building those relationships, creating trust.
Because when you trust people, it's easier to work through like disagreements and stuff, right?
Right. 100%. It makes everything smoother.
Okay, so we've got negotiation, persuasion, communication.
Right.
And then RoleCatcher mentions this other skill that I did not expect. They talk about systems analysis.
Interesting. Yeah, see, that one, it does seem a little out of place at first.
Yeah, a little bit.
But then you think about it and you're like, a university department, that's a system.
Yeah, it is a system. Yeah, it's got all these different, like, parts.
Right, and they all have to work together. So you've got budgets, you've got resources to manage, schedules to
So
wrangle.
student enrollment, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And the thing is, especially these days, with the,
Budgets being what they are, yeah.
exactly, there is very little margin for error.
You can't just be, like, winging it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So having a department head who could look at all of that,
Yeah.
right, and say, okay, where are the bottlenecks? Where can we be more efficient? That is priceless.
So it's about seeing the big picture, but then also understanding how all those little details fit in.
Exactly. And then coming up with solutions that actually make things better for everyone.
So we've talked about all these skills, but what's the actual, like, path to becoming a department head? Like, where do you even start?
Well, RoleCatcher actually lays out like a whole career trajectory,
Oh, cool.
which I thought was really interesting. So they start with, those entry-level positions.
Okay.
Like think department assistant, junior associate.
Right, right.
And at that level, it's a lot of like learning the ropes, right?
Yeah.
Providing admin support, really getting a feel for how the department actually functions day to day.
So it's like you're getting that foundational experience.
Exactly. You're like observing, you're learning from the ground up.
Okay.
And then as you move up, RoleCatcher highlights this shift. It's from like department coordinator to senior department manager.
Okay.
And they say that's kind of a key transition
Interesting.
because as a coordinator, you're managing those daily tasks. You might be supervising some staff,
Right.
but to jump to senior manager, you need to show that you can handle like the leadership stuff. You need to be able to think strategically.
Okay. So it's less about just, like, checking boxes on a to-do list.
Right.
And it's more about, like, taking initiative.
Exactly. You're the one proposing solutions, maybe even leading whole projects.
Right. And is that where, like, the networking and self-promotion stuff comes in?
100%. Because it's not enough to just be good at your job, right?
Yeah.
You got to make sure people know you're good at your job.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
RoleCatcher actually talks about building your professional profile, and they mean like actively building it.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Well, they mentioned, presenting at conferences,
Okay.
maybe publishing some research, collaborating on projects with other departments.
Right, right. Getting your name out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about showing off your expertise, your leadership potential.
Because, I mean, like they say, you are your own best advocate, especially in a competitive field like academia, right?
Well, absolutely.
Whoa.
You got to toot your own horn a little bit.
Yeah. So, okay, we've talked about the journey, but what about RoleCatcher itself? How does it actually help you land that department head job?
Well, they've got these tools, and this is where I think it gets really cool.
Okay, lay it on me.
Like their AI-powered CV analysis.
AI and CVs. That sounds intense.
It's really wild.
Yeah.
Because we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Like staring at our resumes, trying to make them sound impressive.
Oh, yeah, the worst.
This is next level stuff. RoleCatcher's AI, it actually looks at job descriptions,
Okay.
figures out what skills they're really looking for,
Uh-huh.
and then it tells you how well your CV matches up.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right. So let's say a department head posting is all about like strategic planning and budget management.
Okay, yeah.
RoleCatcher will scan your CV,
Right.
see if you've got those keywords,
Right.
and if they're buried, like on page 3, it'll tell you to move them up top.
It's like having a little career coach in your computer.
Totally.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. They also have this like massive library of interview questions,
Oh, wow, okay.
all specific to different roles.
So you could actually practice, like, answering questions a department head would get asked.
Exactly. Like, how would you handle a conflict between two faculty members who can't stand each other?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Or, what's your vision for this department in 5 years?
Because, I mean, even if you have all the right experience, being able to actually talk about it clearly and confidently, that's huge, right?
Huge. And here's the kicker. RoleCatcher, it even gives you feedback on your answers, like AI-powered feedback.
No way.
It's amazing. It's like, hey, you stumbled over this word, or your answer was a little rambly. Try this instead.
That's incredible. Okay, so to wrap things up today, We've learned that becoming a university department head, it's a journey.
It is.
And it takes a whole bunch of different skills. It's not enough to just be an expert in your field.
You're right.
You got to be a leader, a strategist, a communicator, even a little bit of an entrepreneur. It's a jungle out there.
It is.
Huh.
But luckily, platforms like RoleCatcher, they can give you the insights and the tools you need to navigate all of that, right?
Exactly.
So to everyone listening, whether you're just starting out in academia or you're dreaming of running your own department one day,
Yeah.
remember, it's a tough path, but with the right prep, you can totally achieve your goals.
You got this.
That's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone, and until next time, stay curious.